Again, we're going to talk about something very good today. Actually, the concept is based upon a book that was written years ago by PhD John Gray. Uh, we're talking about women are from Venus, men are from Mars, so forth. And the book was about exploring the relationship model between different sexes. You know, women think different, men think different. So we're going to take a dive in today to talk about uh, Venus and Mars as it pertains to healthy relationship. Last week we talked about exploring relationship, talked about the 5 love languages. So we're going to pick up the day and just kind of explore what we have learned about ourselves as it pertains to healthy relationships. To realize men relate differently than women, and so let's go ahead and dive in. So, guys, so let's dive in. What have we learned about ourselves as it pertains to being in relationships?
Wow. I guess I can start.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've learned about myself is I'm a very compromising person, and I never thought of myself as a person that likes to compromise because I played sports. I was always the leader.
Mhm.
Anything I did, I was always the leader. So it was okay. We got to do this, this, and this. And so when it comes to my relationship, what I realize now is that I'm a very compromising person, and I never realized that before. I always thought I had to be the leader. I got to lead,
Mhm.
and so that's something that's I love it, by the way.
Mhm.
Compromising, but it's something that I've learned about.
Well, you're gonna learn a whole lot now because you just got married, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you ain't got no other choice but to come.
I know, right?
I think for me, I'm an introvert, and there have been a lot of things that I've never experienced. I never people telling each other that they love them, all that kind of stuff. I never experienced that as a child, and so when it came to personal relationships, I've always been apprehensive about sharing that kind of stuff because I never received it. I may be loud in certain instances, but I'm actually a shy person. So I can tell in certain relationships that has affected the success of my relationships because of me being an introvert, being affectionate, telling someone repeatedly that you love them and stuff like that. Uh, I've never heard my mother say I love you. I've heard my dad say it. That's when he's intoxicated. But hey, it's only time. Um, but like I said to you guys before, the last time I was here, you guys had good models. You saw these guys. I didn't. I never saw that healthy side of a healthy relationship. You know, so that's where I'm single now, and so this gives me an opportunity to reflect on what I need to do when I do get back into a relationship. What do I need to do? And I remember Ricky saying in a training, when does what was it? Something starts, intercourse starts, and that most of us in the room was baffled. That was a trick question. It actually starts in the morning when you hug, kiss, and you tell that person good morning. Never knew that. What's the saying? If you know better, you do better. So
That's right.
I've learned a lot being here, learning those types of things. So I guess when the time comes, I can kind of take it for a spin.
That's right. That's right. You said something real important just now. You alluded to the idea of we mostly socialize in how we go about relationships. Having that model. If we don't see it, do we do it? And when we come into contact, let's say you, like Craig said, if you're an introvert and you're kind of hold your emotions inside, you're more action oriented than verbal expression. But then you come in a relationship with a woman that's very affectionate, very outgoing, very sort of the flower of the room, so to speak. She's very high spirited. Sometimes you may be a little reserved because they're not used to that. But it goes with socialization. So yeah, some of the things we learn about ourselves, we learn from other people. We become a product of our environment.
We model after certain things.
That's right.
And if you don't see it, Quincy Jones says it this, and I always say this: we do what we see.
That's right.
I didn't see it, so I can't do it. And when I do it, I'm uncomfortable. So
Let me ask you a question. What did you learn most about yourself in a relationship? What happened for you? Like, you know what? I learned this about myself. What was that defining moment?
I learned that I can make it through the storm.
Okay.
And in the beginning of our relationship, we both came into our relationship. We had dealt with some stuff outside of us coming together. We had dealt with bad relationships. And so my mindset was, ain't no way I'm gonna fall in love with another woman right now. I ain't doing it. I'm just not gonna do it. No way, God. I'm sorry, I ain't doing it. And so when I approached Jamaica in church that day, and we began to talk and began having conversations, I was still damaged. I was damaged. And so I'm like, look, I ain't falling for this woman. She crazy. No. And
but you still asked for the number,
I
right?
still got the number. That's right. Because God said, don't be no fool. so as we began to talk, it wasn't peaches and cream in the beginning because I still had my issue.
Okay.
And what I learned was if you just communicate with your partner, be open and honest from day one, no secrets, don't hide anything.
Wow.
Maybe she's coming from the same direction or going the same direction, and maybe she's damaged too.
Wow.
And so what we realized was we were two damaged people trying to get back to God.
Wow. Wow.
And we allowed each other to express ourselves fully in a relationship in the beginning. And I realized that, you know what, there's no storm that I can't make it through this one.
Wow. Wow. So sometimes do you think we relate or get into relationships being guarded?
I think so.
We build walls around our emotions, build walls around ourselves.
Absolutely. We're scared to say what we want to say to our partner in fear that they may judge us or break up with us or say, hey, I don't want to deal with all this.
That's right.
It's that fear.
Gotcha.
Let me say this. What I've learned most every relationship that I've been a part of, never willing to compromise. It was always about what I wanted. Wow. And I never saw this until after the fact. It's always, let's go here. Let's do this. It was never about what does she want. Wow. But when you by yourself, you get a chance to reflect and sit back and think, what should I have done different? Why wasn't the relationship successful? And that's one of the things that I come up with. I lack the ability to compromise. Wow. They were always willing to do whatever to make the relationship successful. Not Craig. Craig wanted what he was like a child. Craig what he wanted. And I didn't think about her. What they wow. So that's one of the things that I would change is to be willing to compromise. Always think about what they want.
And do you think it's more of a defense mechanism? Sometimes we fear what might happen, so we have to control everything to keep us from getting damaged.
And that was a part of it. That was a part of fear.
Mm-hmm.
And some people ask me right now, why aren't you in a relationship? The first thing I say is fear. And I use those types of things to control the situation, to control my fear, to protect my fear.
Mm-hmm.
So, to some people that may not understand that, but that's what I use as a defense mechanism. Mm-hmm. I had to control the situation. And that was one of the things that I did.
So Craig, if I may ask you one question though, at what point do you say, okay, enough is enough? I can't keep doing this.
No, it's the time. Yeah, I said that because I'm by myself. When you by yourself, you think about a lot of stuff. Yeah. I'm by myself because I want to be. Because I remember a friend of mine, she's an elder. She said, what you need to do is be alone for a while and give yourself some time to grow. Mm-hmm. Think about life. Think about personal perspectives. What you need to change. Dale Davis. And this has been the longest that I've been saying. I may have talked with him here and there, but to be alone, to figure out what I need to do, this is the longest that I've done it.
So. And just think about, just piggybacking on what you said, being alone, self-reflection. sometimes when we build walls, nothing can get in and nothing can get out. And we can keep those walls up so long until when we do come into a relationship, we have company, but we're not in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Because in a relationship, it's the act of relating to people.
Mm-hmm.
Relating, you know, not relating one side, but relating back and forth. So, and as men, and sometimes culture factors into that because we've been socialized as men that we just supposed to work, provide, you know, and that's it. As far as emotions, as far as apologizing,
yeah,
or attending to someone else, we haven't been socializing, and society has played a part in that.
yes.
You know, we always were tough. I mean, think about when we were small. We fall on the floor or play football, get hit, get back up. Men don't cry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and what we're saying is you're not allowed to express real emotion.
That's true.
You're not allowed. I mean, and women, if a woman get a heart broke, her girls can come by, pick her up, give her some retail therapy. They go and shout,
Yeah.
girl, come with us and get your nails done. Or let's say have a little ice cream party. And they sit down and talk about the problem. She cry all day long. That's all right, baby. That's all right, baby. You know, they rally. Men, when we hurt, cut on the music, ride down the road. We go home, get some chips or whatever, cut the game on, sit around, think, go for one movie, see what's playing next. Watch that movie. Your boy, come on, what's going on? I'm all right, man, I'm good.
You don't want to talk about it.
We don't want to talk about it. I'm good. And we'll change the subject. Hey, man, what about that Cowboys game yesterday, boy? Dak threw that. What you talking?
Yeah.
We'll talk about everything. But the problem is when we hold it in, when our next potential relationship come up, we bring that same baggage into the next relationship.
And you know, that's so true because one of the things that I had to work on was making sure I don't bring my baggage to my new relationship. I had to make sure of that because I previously hurt, so I was, my mindset wasn't exactly where it should have been, and so I went to God. That's what I did. I started praying and making sure I was more attentive in church because I was like, there's no way I'm bringing what I left into this new situation because I don't want to damage the new situation.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be damaged.
I got a question for both of you, right? I got a question. How can I frame this?
Oh boy.
Can we as men forgive like we are required to be forgiven? I'm going to say that again.
Boy.
Can we as men forgive as much as we are required to be forgiven? Give you an example. If a man messes up in a relationship, we want her to get over it, quit talking about it, forgive us, let's move on. But if the tables are turned and she did the same thing, can we keep the same mentality? I'm going to let it go. I'm going to move on. Let's build. Or do we hold her hostage while we demand to be free?
I would say as a whole, we do. It's hard for a man to forgive because of that pride.
Okay.
You hurt me, I'll never forget that.
But if you messed up, you want her to
forgive. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Go get some flowers and some candy.
We'll explain what happened. And somehow or another, we'll curve that thing and make it feel like you caused me to do this.
Yes. Yes. But
if you would have did this, I would have never. We would have been good. If you would have never did,
it's your fault.
It's your fault.
But the forgiving part, it's something deeper.
Okay.
Because you can't, and I'm just speaking for myself now. I could not, and not in my current relationship, but in the previous relationship, I could not find it in my heart to forgive until I actually had got out of that situation and into a new situation where I realized I had to forgive her in order to move forward with my life.
Because forgiveness don't mean the person is they're not wrong.
Right.
Forgiveness means I've chosen to release the anger and resentment concerning this. Because a lot of times we don't forgive because we feel like if I forgive, and they feel like they can continue to play me or they can do something. And it doesn't really mean that, because whoever you forgive, you release from.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever you don't forgive, you're bound to.
And I'll be honest, well, you guys, I was literally dying. I mean, my health was failing terribly. I was literally going off when they say the rough side of the mountain, I was on the rough side of the mountain. And I realized what I was dealing with, it was physically, but it was more internal. And I really had to let this thing go from an inner standpoint in order for me to move on and to be healthy and live the healthy life that I want to live and healthy relationship.
So and sometimes you can have emotional eating. So if you're holding resentment, because we desire what we call comfort food.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going through, I'm hurting, I'm gonna try to eat my way out of it. And some men, give me a drink. And drink our way. And so sometimes we try to overcompensate for an emotional pain we never suppressed. Now that we suppress, now some men can go on what's called serial dating.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna date you to get over her.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna date you to get over her.
Yeah.
And so we serial date because we're trying to I think it's almost like, now I'm gonna say so. Anytime you get into a relationship, you are uncovering a vulnerability. That means I gotta trust my emotions with you. And I don't know if I'm ready to do that. So sometimes to play it safe, if I'm dating Karen, I'll keep something going on a little bit with Tanya for plan B. Just in case this don't work out, I ain't gonna fall because I got a parachute over here.
Right.
Tanya would be the parachute. And as sometimes as men, do we find ourselves doing that?
Well, let's go back to forgiveness. And I know Christ has forgiven us.
Mm-hmm.
We are to forgive others. I understand that. You're asking a lot of me. When you hurt me, whew, that's a lot. And I mean, I gotta admit, I'm in a situation now where I have not forgiven someone, and I continue to hold it against that person.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I do it? Because I want you to feel the pain.
There you go.
I want you to feel what you did.
What I felt.
Yeah.
I want you to feel what I felt.
And I feel like if I can not forgive you, I can hurt you back.
Mm-hmm. And who's really hurting?
Me.
And because
it feels good to see that.
Yeah, retaliation.
But here's the thing, though.
But
one of the things that I've learned is the person that did it to you, they moved on with their life.
Oh, they
good. They not even thinking about what they done to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so here you are,
right?
holding on to that.
Not forgiving someone is the person.
Is
you drinking poison?
He's drinking poison, waiting for them to die.
Yeah,
That's true.
And so I had to learn to really let it out.
Now let's move on to the second part of that question. What have you learned about your significant other?
One of the things that I've learned about my significant other is she's a very outgoing person. She's very outgoing. She loves to talk to people. She loves to hold conversations.
Mm-hmm.
She's a people person, and I haven't known her not to be a people person, whereas I'm not always a people person because I deal with so many people. I'm always around people. Sometimes I'll be like, I don't want to speak to everybody today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to wave at everybody today. I don't want to be around people today. Her thing is she's a people person. She likes being around people.
You tell he glowing. He just got married. He glowing.
Yes.
Yeah. He glowing. We had this conversation with him about 5 years from now.
So that's one of the things that I've learned about her.
Woo. Good question just came across, right? And it follows in with what we just left off of forgiveness.
Oh boy.
Can men forgive like women?
No. I'm gonna say no. Women got this special heart that God gave them specifically that men don't have. And now, they are some forgiving creatures.
Now let me ask you something. Is that choice? Is that gender driven?
Whew, man,
that's a good question.
Yeah, it's a choice of gender driven. I think at the end of the day, it could be gender driven.
Yeah, I'm inclined to believe that.
I believe it is. Because as men, we're taught not to forgive easily. We're taught not to just let things go. Like if you do something to me, okay, come on, we gotta fight. Women.
Well,
They ask to forgive. They ask to love.
I think women are born with this innate ability to forgive. I just feel that. As us, we have to continue this macho persona. I ain't forgiving, just like I told you. I still got to get even. I still have this competition thing, competitive drive. I'm gonna make you feel good. I still got to win. Put it like that. Even though it's wrong, that's my mentality. I'm still gonna win. You got that part. I'm gonna win too.
And I say
it only continues to saturate the situation, man.
I'll say this. I thank God for the forgiving women out there, because if it wasn't for a lot of forgiving women, a lot of us men would be messed up. Because it was for those forgiving women who forgave those men who stayed and worked it out, where we were able to see a model of a good relationship, a positive relationship, or somebody just making it work, right?
I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
Let me get this. I'm gonna give y'all something to chew on real quick. One of my classmates, we grew up together. She was married for 27 years. Her husband cheated 6-7 years ago. We're talking about how women forgive. They're getting ready to settle. Not because of something he did recently, but because of what he did 6-7 years ago. And I said, well, wait a minute, you continued the relationship. Now all of a sudden, she said, well, I never really got past it.
Collateral damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna offer a little pushback on it because, all right, so the question was, can we forgive our significant other, or can we forgive like women? Now I ask this question is, how come we have a hard time forgiving our women, but if your best friend or one of your boys,
I knew you was going,
wronged you, we can dap it up, move on, and act like nothing happened? So if that is the case, is it choice?
Yeah, man, sometimes I think you kind of tapping my phone, man. Because one of my best friends, he and I had heated conversations months ago. And so the brother said, you talk to blah, blah, blah. No, I want to talk to him. Well, man, I think y'all should talk because he was talking about you the other day. He said, y'all been friends for X amount of years, blah, blah, blah. And I said, yeah, I miss my friend, So we talked and we stepped to the side. I get where you're going, man. That does.
So it's choice then.
Yeah.
Now,
is it really choice?
Think about it. If I can forgive, if I have a hard time forgiving a woman, which is a person, but I can forgive my best friend or one of the boys like nothing. One of your best friends can wrong you. You can get mad, this, that, and the third. He show up, he ain't even got to give a bunch of you. Man, I'm sorry, man. We've been bored, blah, blah, blah. We go back, we dab it up. We ain't even got to sit down and cry about it. We dab it up, talk about it, boom. Hey, man, you coming over for the Super Bowl party? What's good, man? Hey, we riding out today. And we ride out and we good. Matter of fact, we'll take it a step further. You may be mad with him, but if somebody's about to jump him, he call you, you coming quick.
On the way.
There's
no question.
So is it choice then? So sometimes we choose not to forgive, maybe out of fear.
Come on, sir.
Because fear says, I don't want to hurt like this again. So I got to create this barrier to make sure you don't do me like this again.
Hey, that's true. That's true. Yeah, because I'm doing the same thing, but I'm keeping this person to a distance to make sure that she don't come at me.
So what we're afraid of, guess what, is our own feelings.
Wow.
Yeah. We're really, because
we don't want to be hurt.
What it is, what that is saying is, I fell for you so deeply, even though I was acting hard. I was into you that deep, and I didn't want to show you I was into you that deep. So when you hurt me, you revealed how much I was into you that deep. Because as men, we play the, man, I don't care, man, all these women in the world, man, I don't care, man, I don't care. But the time they do something, it takes us to a place like, oh.
Take away your man.
Here we go again.
Yeah.
Here we go again. Now I gotta go crying again.
So
people is nice.
So then we hold things against them because in our masculinity, we still have pain. We still have suffering. So we have to find a way. And y'all keep the questions coming because we get them coming in. What's the next one? Men hold women to a higher standard regarding forgiveness. Carissa, I think you got a good point there. I think we do. Men tend to hold women in higher standards, but we need to still hold ourselves to the same standards that we hold you to. So if you want a good woman, you got to be a good man.
Come on. You got to be a good
If
man.
you want a faithful woman, you got to be a faithful man. You can't want her to wait on your beck and call, but you ain't turned in your black book.
Come on, somebody.
But get mad if she get a text from somebody. We're talking something, yeah.
We are.
So if watch this. How is it that, let's say, a man would play Facebook police to his girlfriend or wife to see who all on the Facebook list or friends list, but if we inboxing back and forth, or we feeling good because such and such liked our photo, she don't know that was our girlfriend in 8th grade or whatever. But if we find out that somebody from her past liked her picture or whatever, we about to blow up, and we ain't saying nothing.
Listen, my classmate, she just went through that. Her husband found that she and I was communicating. I said, well, there ain't nothing going on between us. But the fact that he did what he did, now he has to find something, I guess
An outlet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and that's fine. But if he plays, will he play by the same rules? Now, do we play two different games?
Sometimes we do. Sometimes
do we require two different sets of rules in the same game?
Sometimes we want our cake and we want to eat it too. As I said, the cake and eat it too. I believe we do.
So let's say if we and you and your significant other in a basketball game, right? You're playing the same game. The game is relationship. How come you only giving her 5 fouls, but you won't 10? She only allowed 5. In a game of basketball, you only allow 5 fouls before you foul out, right?
Right.
But in a relationship, we want 10 fouls before we foul out. So is there a double standard? As men, give you another example, and it's how we socialize, right? Our socialization comes into this. As men, as little boys, we get prodded by our uncles. Yeah, you're gonna be what? A ladies' man.
We do.
You're gonna be a ladies' man. Look at my look. We will never tell the women you're gonna be a man's woman.
Nope.
But we tell our little boys
because
you're gonna be
it's a double standard.
With double standard.
If women are associated with different men, we know the title they carry.
Mm-hmm.
But if men are associated with different women,
we get a high five.
Player. Yeah, he got all the women.
Yeah.
It's a double standard.
Casanova, me and Romeo ain't never been friends.
It's a double standard.
Oh, that bug got bad girls call. But let that woman go and get 5 boys call. She fast.
It's like you're credited with being Jody. Jody chops up to you. So it's a double standard.
Think of how we do popularity. In school, the guy that has the most girls liking him gets paraded.
Yep.
The girl that has a lot of guys liking her gets looked down, called ass, and every other adjective you can come up with. That's true. So I think when we come into a relationship, if we socialize that a man gets props, highlights for having women liking him, when he comes to a relationship, does he let that go?
You know what? I don't think that most men let that go. I don't think so. I don't want to give out all our secrets. But how many men do we know they got wifey, they got somebody on the side over here, the side girl, and they want other women to, oh, you look nice today, you look handsome. Thank you, appreciate it. To get somebody inbox or somebody text them, oh man, that make me feel some type of way.
Tell somebody ego, right?
Right? Yeah. But let her get that same attention. Oh, no.
So that's a double standard, right?
It's a double standard. I agree 100%. It's a double standard.
Right. Okay, I'm throwing another question. Oh, no. If you had a daughter, right? Had a daughter, and your daughter is in a relationship with somebody, right? She got a little boyfriend with her, and she decides that she's dating Tommy, but Hakeem likes her. So she decides to, okay, I think I'm gonna explore, see how Hakeem is. I'm in a relationship with Hakeem. How would you, as a father, look at it?
Well, I have a daughter. First thing I do is we got to go over the rules of dating.
But you'll be more sympathetic, right?
Oh, absolutely. I'll be more sympathetic.
What about you? You'll be more sympathetic. Like, okay.
But we're going to have that conversation.
So could we treat our relationships the same way? So you see the standards, right?
Right.
The standards. So sometimes I think as men, we got to explore ourselves and see where our mouth comes. Because it could come from culture. We watch TV. We live in a society now that a rapper gets on TV, gets on a video, he has 6 or 7 women around him. Most guys would be like that rapper. He's pulling all the ladies. Mm-hmm. But we enter into a relationship with that same mentality. It's not going to work.
Because you're going to break somebody's heart. And then it's going to become a cycle. Okay, you break that heart, and that heart breaks that heart, then it just continues going. And then we wonder why 50% of people that get married in the United States get divorced. We wonder
why quiet over there. You're doing some deep thought. Let's go to the next one. How has your perspective on love, relationships, and commitment changed? And by the way, those who tune in, keep the questions coming, comments. Hey, loving it. You're sending them. We're there with Professor Carissa. We got you there. So how has your perspective on love, relationships, and commitment changed? How has it changed? Because when we come in for try to feel things out. Because to me, you really can't blame the bias. Okay. So how has it changed? How's your view on love?
For me, my view on love and relationships have only deepened.
Okay.
Because I grew up my whole life watching my dad love my mom.
Okay.
Watching him love her unconditionally and watching my mom love my dad unconditionally. Through the sickness and the physical changes, it was just love no matter what. No matter what we go through, love. And so I always wondered how mom and dad, right? Y'all can't be just love each other all the time. There ain't no way, right? There's sometimes somebody want to step out, somebody want to do something, but I saw that commitment. Mm-hmm. And so in my relationship, it only deepened. It only made me want to love even more because I had a model to go by. Like even when you're going through, you're going through everything, you still stay there because the love is it. And the love is deeper than I love you, love me. It's more than a no, it's a no. It's just something that God planted and ain't going nowhere. It's a deep rooted seed. And no matter what comes, it can't be removed.
It's a value.
It's a value.
So let me ask you a question. So when you watch that model, that shape of perspective, is it equally important to find somebody to share that same value?
Absolutely.
Because you can feel that way.
Absolutely.
Like 110%. But if you with somebody that says, well, I can take people have the same value, that can cause a problem.
And I remember I was having a conversation with Craig. One of the things Craig said was, man, she got a good family. She has a really good family. Mm. That, for me, I have a really good family.
Yeah.
And so I knew she had a good family, but hearing somebody else say she has a good family, it just deepened it for me. I'm like, yo, this is right.
So really, you made me think about something. Oftentimes, when you go to buy a car, they always tell you to check the Carfax, right? What is that Carfax going to show?
Everything.
The history, where that car has been, the durability, what work has been done on it, whether they had a motor changed out of it, whether it has a salvage title. It gives you the background of that car as a good indicator of how that car will be for you. So do we need to use a Carfax on relationships? before we get into relationships, we need to find out the history of that person, because sometimes what you do is what you've done before.
You know, I say this.
How do you find out that kind of history?
Well, okay.
People can tell you what they
So
want to know.
when I met Tamika, right? So first time I met her was through Tia, right? And so just had to know Craig
References.
So that was 2 references who gave the top notch information to me, like, girl,
who don't have no dog in the fight, who ain't just gonna speak up for because they, but has neutral in it. You want information from a neutral person, ain't got nothing to gain for them speaking up for.
Right? And then she was at my church, and the pastor spoke highly of. I'm like, no. That's it. I won.
Can we go back to the question?
Yeah.
For me, I desire the time to want to be in the relationship. But because of the stuff that I've done in the past, I am afraid it's gonna come back and get me. Not only to the person that I was involved in, that I was committed to, but women who in a relationship and so because of what I've done in the past, it's wrong. I could go too far. But when I go all in, then this happens, I'm broken down. So because of my past,
so we're dealing with 2 things. Not just forgiveness of somebody else, forgiveness of yourself.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes you can hold yourself bondage when you probably already learned from that person. Let me tell you something. Sometimes pain can be recycled and changed to a teachable moment. Even our mistakes that we make can be used to be a bridge to a better life. It's what you do. Now, just like trash, right? People take that trash and put it in recycling. That same old can, that same busted up bottle is going to be recycled into something new. We got to recycle our trash, our mistakes. Recycle those mistakes and make something better than it was before. We got to do that with our mistakes. Sometimes we got to look at what we've done. Because he that does not know his history is only going to repeat. I don't want to repeat my history. I can learn from my history. My history could be something that I can rely on as a reference point. Because I say, the last time I let myself get this, I did this. So now when I catch myself getting that mentally, I said, wait a minute, the last 5 times I ended up getting this. So the next time I get in that same emotional, I'm going to break that pattern. The one way you break something is go opposite of that energy. Right? Go opposite. If that energy is taking me this way, I'm going to intentionally go opposite of that energy, and that until that becomes a lifestyle. I will break that pattern. So if I have a history of being accusatory because of distrust, every time I want to come out angry against somebody, I'm going to say something complimentary. I'm breaking that pattern. And what I'm doing, I'm training my own spirit of how to reply until it becomes normal, until it becomes unknown. The problem is we've allowed irrational decisions. We've allowed the mistakes we make to become a pattern. That's my choice. Yeah. Our cognitive thinking affects our behavior. So if I change my thinking, I change my behavior. But I have to challenge my thinking in order to change. What you will not confront, you will not conquer. What you will not confront, you will not conquer. Sometimes the best person you can ever conquer is yourself. Some of the hardest fight to fight is a civil war. You know why civil wars are the most bloodiest wars in the United States and across the country? When the Sunnis are fighting the Shiites, Muslim against Muslim, civil war in the United States, North against South. You know why those are the most bloodiest wars? The hardest war to fight is you fighting your own people. Because nobody can beat you like yourself.
We also say that
yourself. If you can beat yourself, there's nothing else you cannot conquer. You are your own battle. And so sometimes, even when we get in a relationship, we don't have a fight with the person. We have a fight with ourselves that's playing out against that person. I'm fighting myself, but you are an innocent bystander. So you catching a bullet that was not intended for you. We're doing drive-by that we really mad at ourselves. They're innocent bystanders. We make people do crimes that they did not commit. How would you like to get locked up for a crime that you wouldn't even be on the scene? And police come in here right now and lock you up. They say, if somebody match your description, rob the bank, we take it from you. But I wouldn't even dare when it happened. Well, you got to still do time for it. What if we do women the same way? Somebody else hurt me 5 years ago, but I'm going to put you through distrust. I'm making you doing crime, and you wouldn't even dare on the scene when it happened. So we have to make sure that we examine our inside and make sure we're not making people do sentences for stuff somebody else did to us. Because guess what? You keep yourself locked in, you rob yourself of the potentials of the relationship. You rob yourself of potential good life. What if you robbing yourself of things you always ask for? We get mad when we can't get them, and we get mad because we don't allow ourselves. So is it her fault? Is her pain your pain? Her fault? No. But do we make it her fault?
Sometimes we do.
Do we? I'm gonna throw this out there. Hey, we've been as transparent as possible. You only see a lot of men on camera talking like this, but we're gonna be as transparent. Do we find ourselves going in so deep that we try to mess it up because we get afraid of where it's going?
No. Yep. You just do the check. I believe that men do, because it's that thing.
Do we does it scare us to see how good she getting along with our family?
Absolutely. Because then it says commitment. It says, okay, now I gotta stay long term. But if you ain't never been in something long term, your daddy never showed you long term, granddaddy never showed you long term, uncles never showed you long term, nobody in your family has ever shown you long term. Now they're asking you to be committed. What's wrong with them liking somebody I go with? You know? So a lot of men will run from that. What's wrong with you, mama, liking this woman?
Because I'm hard. No, right. Girl. No, I ain't in love. You're somebody I be with. Right.
And so for a lot of men, that scares them because they've never seen it before. And now you're asking me to walk in the dark, but make sure I stay on the path.
Right.
And so, and I just say this to all the positive, influential men out there, even if it ain't your son, be a part of his life.
And show them how to forgive.
Show them how to forgive. Show them how to love. Because there's a lot of men out there need more.
So let me throw this. You said something in your thoughts today. So what if you have a man that's afraid of commitment, afraid of getting hurt? That's going to be the guy that's going to date you, but keep strings over here too. Just in case it don't work here, I got to fall back and safety net. It won't hurt as bad that I ain't got nobody because I really got somebody. So I have to feed her something every now and then so I can keep everything. You got to keep all the tables burning. Yeah, let's get this go out. I got this. So I can lean a little bit harder on this. That means I give every woman 30%. 30% here, 33% each. That way I won't give nobody all. So when that 33% got, then I can give you 70%. We got 30%. So when that goes out, then you get all 100%. But I don't really give you 100% because I'm gonna find another replacement. But
because you know what? Because a lot of men, what we're looking now, say we because we all in this. What a lot of men are looking for is mama. And affirmation. Mama in these women.
Yeah.
And so you gotta keep the strings because okay, so you're willing to be my mama today. Okay, I'm gonna go over here. She'll be my mom.
I'm gonna push on that. What you mean by being your mom?
Somebody that take care of them, cook.
And I've heard that before.
Give them a place to eat.
Okay.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Got to be mom.
We tend to date identical. I've heard that.
So we have a problem when mom's gonna compliment you. That's my son, my son, my son. So that's why we have a problem when your significant other challenges.
Right. I believe that.
So if she asks you a question, well, why are you acting like this? Let's talk about this. We don't want that. We want somebody to do us like that. Sure.
But I would always find that true.
Okay.
Because I know what type of person I'm looking.
Oh, it's coming in. Now, I will throw this. So emotionally, when we're not showing emotions, do we ever give our significant other that dead hand? You know what I mean? That dead hand. In other words, she's walking in public, she go to grab your hand and just kind of let the hand lay there and she holding a dead hand.
I'll be honest, my wife don't play.
She gonna play that dead hand. She wants you to grip her hand just like
grip her hand like you grip
but
her
it's meaning we're not showing emotion. She gonna grab that. We look like, no. They give it out dead.
I remember someone grabbing my hand affectionately, and I looked down real quick. What's going on here? You know, I have to get into that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Got another statement. Carissa says you can't make the woman in front of you pay for the mistakes of the woman from your past. Shout out to Carissa Gerald. Good. You're absolutely right, Carissa, and you're right along the line what you said. So now, our perspective change on love, relationship, commitments change sometimes by our learning experience. And sometimes life will give you scenarios that you didn't see coming. You got to adapt and adjust and try to get some resilience. Now, next question. Name 3 ways that you communicate better with your significant other or your
for an example, a couple weeks ago, me and Jamaica, we communicated without saying a word to each other. I was busy doing some work and I was just focused. She wanted to just speak to me or say hey, and she FaceTimed. And for about 5 minutes, we literally communicated without saying a word. You know, I waved at her, she waved at me, blow her a kiss, she blew me a kiss, you know.
That made a little sound like
yeah, but we communicated for about 5 minutes without literally saying a word because I'm literally busy.
Mm-hmm.
And that was satisfaction for her.
Wow.
Just
being in the moment.
That moment.
Knowing you think about it, knowing you notice. Because communication goes far beyond work. I've been to restaurants and see me and my wife sitting at a restaurant. And you can see across from the table, you have couples sitting there, both of them on the phone. From texting on the phone, hadn't said anything to each other in about 30 minutes. Food get there, they eat, look around, no communication. They're just there. And sometimes we got to realize that there's something's happened. Something's happened. Because sometimes we don't want to be alone. We want somebody, but we want them to be with us in our broken state. Because I'm going to be honest with you, relationship is a vulnerable position. It's almost like, you ever did people do the experiment where you tell a person to stand up, turn around, you got to trust that the person's going to catch you.
Yes.
You tell them to fall back.
Fall back.
And you got to trust the team's going to catch you. That's a trust because I'm going to put myself at risk of getting hurt. If I fall back, I got to know that you're going to catch me. And sometimes relationships, we get into a relationship and we know that, hey, don't put a demand on me to be perfect. Don't compare me to who you were with before. And if something happened in my life, if I fall back emotionally, are you going to catch me or judge?
You know, I've been in a situation. I realized after the relationship, totally unprepared. Things that she did, never saw. When she communicated, never saw that not communicated. Walk in, work, music playing, and she want to dance. Wow, you know, I'm not used to that. Or you laying in bed, person kiss you. No, you know, I wasn't used to that. That find it to go on.
Do sometimes you find that men want sex without
Yes. Yes.
And what happens is sometimes we make that woman like a little dish rag. We don't pick up the dish rag until it's time to do the dishes. Dish rag can be in the sink all day long, get dry and everything else. The moment we got a need or a dirty plate, guess what we reach for? that dish right. So sometimes we can treat our partner like dish right. The only time I have you when I got to eat, and you turn me down when I got to eat. You don't care about me because our needs may be different. Your needs are emotionally, but tied emotionally.
You know, and I was going to say that sometimes we don't understand intimacy. It's,
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And I never knew to listen. I think that's why some relationships.
Yeah.
Because we think I'm
Mm-hmm.
good. Not appealing to most folks.
Right.
Because one of the things I continue to hear is women are emotional people. You can't tap into that.
And we don't realize we are too. But we mask.
Yeah.
Yes, we put on a mask early in the relationship.
We do. We come in the long range. We wearing our mask, we ride in on the horse on the back.
Because you hear about guys being all sensitive and then they get broken down. So as men, we don't want to.
I don't want to be one of them. So I'm gonna do you wrong before you do me wrong. So when you do me wrong, I got one up on
you. It's dangerous to have that mindset.
Yeah.
It's dangerous because you can miss out. You can potentially miss out on the person that can make you the most happiest you've ever been in your life.
So can a man ruin a good woman?
Absolutely. I believe. I believe he can ruin a good relationship.
You can really, yeah. You can't ruin a good person. You can ruin a situation. I've heard that. Man can ruin a good woman. How does that work?
But some people do get damaged.
How does that work?
Well, some people do get damaged.
You're a therapist. How does that work?
Okay, so if we flip it around, if you're a good man, you work, you do well, you meet a woman, good intentions, she cheat, you get mad. Can she put you in a position? Now you upset,
retaliate.
You retaliate. Now you get in your relationship when trust in the moment, like that. If I was a faithful guy, but now ever since you got hurt, you have a hard time getting in a relationship. So did that?
I think it's individual.
Okay.
I think.
Can they contribute to it?
Let me say this. I know some people who were in some similar situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they refuse to allow that experience to damage future relationships.
They have resilience.
Why? Because of what they were taught.
Yeah.
And what they saw.
Yeah.
What you pour in, come out.
That's right.
My pastor, that's the thought. He used to always say that. What you pour in, I don't care what you put in people. If they're taught the right way, it will continue to.
That's the lean on that teaching.
Yes.
Now, Proverbs says evil communication, right? So, if someone communicates the negative, and that includes, have you ever dated a woman that's bitter? And she wasn't like that all. She used to be a woman that free loving, open her heart. Now she's very reserved. How did she get that? Or have you ever met a man very particular with women? He'll date them, but he won't date them because of something somebody has did. So get that person contribute to that bitterness.
I believe that because even if you take adults who were raped or molested, adolescents, right? And they never got their point. They can be difficult as adults. And if they would have never got raped or molested, they wouldn't have turned out that way.
Gotcha.
But somebody made them that way when they took advantage of that innocence.
Gotcha.
And so even if you take adults now who have not been raped or molested, but they have gone through, so if you take advantage of a person's innocence, that can change the course of their life.
But listen to what you just said. You know, when a person, let's say, they tends to happen, and the person is still in pressure.
Absolutely.
So I think you kind of compare it out.
Yeah. Now, you're absolutely right. But what happens is sometimes It's like this. Have you ever seen a situation? Because really, you need therapy when you have to cope, right? Inability to cope. Have you ever seen someone get into a relationship and they feel like, man, this is the best person in my life. This is my dream. This is my dream guy. And you done showed them off to mama. You done invested time, you done invested money, and everything else. What happens when something devastating happens in a relationship? So high. It's almost like you bought a car and you thought this car was the best. And you get that car in a month's time transmission. Now you say, I don't buy Ford. It wasn't all Ford. Right. It was just that Ford car. Right? Right. Do we do relationships the same way?
We do relationships the same way. I don't think it's fair.
Yeah, yeah.
But we do. Because everybody doesn't share the same. So I don't think what we do. Human nature allows
Gotcha. Gotcha. Oh, yeah, we've been going for a while, y'all. Hey, hope you've been tuning in, sharing. These are real conversations. I mean, these are conversations that we need to have so we can communicate with our sons and daughters, show them how to respond in relationship because they're going to get in a relationship one day. You want to make sure they have the tools and capabilities to be able to adapt because not if the rain comes, is when the rain comes. New Edition made a song years ago. Can you stand the rain?
I thought you were going to sing it again.
Sunny days. Everybody loves them. But can you stand the rain? I think we live in our relationship like it's going to be a forever honeymoon. And that's not reality. You know, there's going to be times that we're going to be challenged and going to be pushed. So, hey, as we close this, I want you to, and you give the protocol on what our participants need to do.
Right. So for all the participants, be sure to check in with your intervention specialist. We will send you a survey. Make sure you do the survey. But not only do the survey, once you do the survey, if you're in the Florence and Darlington area, of course, you would click Florence. If you're in the Marlboro or Marlboro or Dillon area, you would click Bennettsville for the survey. Be sure to do the survey, contact your intervention specialist, and be sure to send us some information about what we talked about today, Venus versus Mars, paragraphs of conversation, right?
We want feedback.
We want feedback. Thank you so much.